October 22nd, 2016, on the 172nd anniversary of the Great Disappointment of the First Adventists in 1844, we visit the Reform Movement Church in Sacramento, California, in our anticipation to hear a timely message on the second coming of our Lord, or a study on a hidden meaning of the sanctuary objects that would reveal more about our sweet Jesus, or maybe a sermon on Christ as our great high priest. We attentively open our ears to the title of this morning preaching.
I entitled this this subject, Adam loved Eve.
Well, our expectations about what we would like to hear on this very special day are blown away, and I am starting to get nervous, because the preacher doesn't remember the title of his study, and he stutters trying to say it. Let's hear what he is attempting to accomplish with such an intriguing title.
I would like to reconcile the mess that we have in the world in families.
Mr. Preacher, you sounded like an upset accountant who is trying to reconcile someone else's poorly recorded financial data. Our guess is that you will be talking about issues that exist in families and addressing them.
And I know that that cannot be done only if we stay strictly biblical.
You lost me. You are talking to a Bible-believing congregation, saying that the family issues cannot be resolved if we stick to the Bible only?
I would like to stay strictly biblical. I would like to be very realistic, because anytime when we present a message, we want to present a message in a context that has something to do with reality, correct? I recommend to all of you to read a book. It's not necessarily a Christian book. It's called The Day America Spoke or Told the Truth. It is a highly recommended book for those who really want to know the reality about family and morality in our country. And I found that for a couple of dollars in one of the stores, second-hand stores, but it is really a good book. This book, unfortunately, has been found in every single public library for the students.
Wait, you lost me again. You just featured this book and then lamented that it was found in every single library?
This book, unfortunately, has been found in every single public library.
Okay. Unfortunately, we heard you say that.
It's written by James Patterson and Peter Kim.
James Patterson is an American author. He is largely known for his novels about fictional psychologist Alex Cross, the protagonist of the Alex Cross series. Patterson also wrote Women's Murder Club, Witch and Wizard series, as well as many standalone thrillers, nonfiction and romance novels.
The three objectives that this book has is what Americans feel about three aspects. Women are morally superior to men. This is what Americans believe, according to their research. Second, only 13% of us believe in the Ten Commandments in American society. And third, cause number one for business decline is low executive ethics. Some years ago, the book has been rejected.
No, it was not rejected. The book remained in libraries for decades, as you so said yourself. The book was removed from the libraries due to its irrelevance. First of all, the book was published in 1991, that's a quarter century ago. The research data, used for the author's analysis, was collected in 1970s and 1980s. Right after its publication, the book received an unpleasant review from the National Opinion Research Center, University of Chicago, that is still available online today. And as Tom Smith, Senior Study Director, wrote in that review, the book was a stew of hyperbole, wild generalizations, and factoids, based on poorly documented and questionable data, and simplistic and bumbling analysis.
So I would highly recommend this book for you, gentlemen, and ladies and gentlemen.
Why would you refer your listeners to the old and questionable source? Besides, it already is obvious that the marriage institution has been on the speedy decline for quite some time. You said you were going to stay strictly biblical. So, let's hear something from the Bible.
David, bad man, the bad man David, that killed a man to take his wife, correct? This horrifying crime, I want to say, brothers and sisters, that in the antediluvian world, that was a daily occurrence. What David did.
Okay, looks like we found a pattern in your thought process here. Why would you apply statistics from before the flood to the time of David? The two are almost 1,500 years apart.
I was back in a youth convention somewhere in time.
Somewhere in time.
I don't know, I don't look to the texts of the people, but a young man was beside me, and he was texting to his future fiancee. And she was replying to him. And he says, look, I mean, I'm so much in love with this young lady. I said, why? Because she's so submissive to me. I said, really?
Oh my goodness. The young man calls her future fiancée submissive?
Very, very, woo!
Liviu, either this young man and his future fiancée are in contradiction with the church matrimonial teachings, or you had a really poor choice of words.
Wow, I feel so good about myself.
No, you shouldn't.
I'm not wondering if our world will collapse, will crash soon.
I believe you had to say, no wonder, our world will collapse soon, or, I wonder, if our world collapses soon. Please, take a closer look at these sentences.
Our universities are teaching scientific socialism. Do you know what that is? Scientific socialism. Do you know what scientific socialism is?
Liviu, first of all, this is not a philosophy class, or a communist convention. Second of all, why would you ask a question, knowing that your audience would not be able to answer? Are you trying to impress people with how much you know?
Wow, I feel so good about myself.
Third of all, this Marxist political theory, per se, is not being taught in the United States. You probably meant to say the theory of evolution, or scientific method, that contradict the divine revelation found in the Bible. Let's hear your intelligent answer to what the scientific socialism is.
That means the Bible is a lie.
Well, we could have guessed.
When Ellen G. White was sitting beside the casket of James White, she made a statement that was recorded in the history of Adventism. I stand before this man as the greatest man that was ever lived in human shoes.
The greatest man that was ever lived in human shoes? Did you mean to say, the greatest man who ever lived? Or, the greatest man who ever walked the earth in human shoes? Or, did you make it intentionally funny? Also, it is very improbable that Ellen White would call her late husband the greatest man who ever lived.
You know, James White was far away from being a super perfect husband. He had his own strengths and weaknesses, and Ellen G. White had to put with them as well, and probably vice versa. But the fact that a man is craving for recognition and respect is magic word for a man.
I think you have just committed a logical fallacy. Your premises were correct, but the conclusion you deduced from them was totally wrong.
So who is guilty? Sin. Look at this Abigail. You know the Abigail?
You pronounced the woman's name two different ways. If you're unsure how to say the names in the Bible, I highly recommend getting an audio Bible. And, instead of these,
it is highly penetrable as a husband, so on and so forth. So, and so on and so forth, and so on and so forth.
Do this. Or this.
So even this sermon does not have any relevance if we don't go to meet with Jesus first.
and you would have been better off speaking about Jesus on this special morning of October 22nd. Besides the points we've already emphasized in this video, you shared an interesting theological idea.
Some people fear that we are living in a sanctuary.
We've also learned some personal things about you.
Maybe I'm the only proud man in the sanctuary. Is that true?
And that you were not a good farmer.
The cows were going like this, and I could not manage.
And that you didn't remember the word countertop.
I'm not worshiping a granite, what do you call that in the kitchen? Granite, okay. Wow, honey, you are unbelievable.